Aloha, welcome to my channel. Welcome to Jessica's channel. Today on Air It Out, we're on episode 16. And for this episode, we're going to talk a lot about divine masculine, about giving, about the seeds that you plant and what that means and what giving back means for you and how fulfilling it is for you and also your community. Air It Out is a series that I started that was on my heart for some time, and finally I decided to share what I love and the energy around me and the energy of the week and important lessons and wisdom from my higher self and from my heart. So I'm really excited to share that with you. It comes from a place of so much love and giving back. So yeah, let's dig in. So this week has been a lot about divine masculine. It really has been asking us to give and to walk the walk. And even if so, male and female both have divine masculine. We are both divine feminine, divine masculine. Divine masculine is very much the conscious side of you. It's you in your waking day. Think of like the sun. It's bright. We see it every day. It's very forward thinking, very up, very much in the light, what we can see. So that's divine masculine. Divine feminine is more of the night aspect, the darker side, and darkness and is not bad. Light is not good or bad. We don't live in a duality. They're both useful. They're both helpful. When we can grow, we grow from both. It's the balance of both that keeps us in our constant evolution. So a divine feminine is, of course, the divine mother in you. And I've talked about this before, but we all have our divine masculine and divine feminine. We all have our inner parents, and those are the voices that we talk to ourselves with. And how are you nurturing yourself? That's your divine mother. How are you taking responsibility for your actions and your life? And are you proud of yourself? And what is enough to you? So that is really the energy that has been in the forefront. It's really being diligent and knowing that hard work is such a blessing. So, I pray against laziness. I pray against just not being fruitful, because, we came to this life to give and to evolve and to discover of ourselves. And that means hard work. That means putting in the work. This life that we live in, the universe is, you can kind of see it as a machine. You need to act with your light and your love in order to produce something. The universe is the reflection. It's kind of like a question mark. It's you stepping into the unknown with love in your heart and knowing that whenever you walk with love, you are always going to get love back. When you plug love into this machine with action, you're always going to get the output. Is going to be beautiful love and trust. Of course, trusting your actions and trusting yourself and trusting that love, because God has placed that love in your heart for a reason, and it is between you and God. Your vision, your gifts that you want to act upon, and you need to trust those gifts even if no one else can see it, because it's just your perspective, your reality with God. And you are a fraction of God. So you have that connection, you have that willpower and that strength to act on that love. And that has a lot to do with your divine masculine. It is very connected to what you're giving to the world and what you're putting forth and what of your heart you're giving. Who are you on the inside? What qualities do you have to offer? And it's a beautiful thing, because I always say this, but we are all connected. We all come from source. We are all brothers and sisters. And when you give love, you are fulfilled. You feel so good. You feel abundant, because your heart is is grand, and you're giving, and that is so purposeful. It's you acting on your purpose. And that is such a quality of being godlike, of being a child of God, is really being able to be generous. And there are qualities that we admire in people, that we admire in humans, and they all come from that fraction of light, that fraction of God, that willpower that God allows us to be courageous, to be strong, and to be love, because we get love from God. So knowing that hard work is so important. It's essential to being fulfilled and to feeling fulfilled. And that also means that you need to be consistent with what you're giving and who you are. And consistency means consistent means what my days are made up of. So every day makes up your life, and you get to choose what that you think is a small day that makes up your large life. And when you're able to see it like that, when you think about it like that, you start to be more aware of your routines and what you're actually doing with your days. What is a habit for you? Really examining and observing your day and seeing what is a habit for you and what you want to add and what you want to take away. This is a really pivotal time as we're coming into summer to really observe and examine what you want to build, because those habits create routines that build and add momentum to projects, to relationships, to services that we want to provide and give to the world. So being aware that we only have the now, and you get to choose what you are putting in. And life gives you what you put in. You know, you are what your life is, what you make it. It truly, truly is. And as always, I always talk about how important it is to be aware of your thoughts, because you are the only person that can stop yourself. Your thoughts are the only things that can stop yourself if you listen to them and if you believe them, if you believe the negative thoughts. So, you know, start saying to yourself, like, I do not, like, negative thoughts don't have any power over me. I know that I no longer subscribe to that mentality of not being good enough, of not feeling worthy enough, of not all of those, you know, not enoughness. Like, I don't subscribe to that anymore. Just being really aware of the thoughts that are coming up, and knowing that if they trigger you, it's because you believe them at some level, and understanding, getting to the root of why, nurturing yourself, loving yourself, and then changing them. I love this little passage from Romans 12. It's 12:2. Don't copy the behavior and customs of this world, but let God transform you into a new person by changing the way you think. Then you will learn to know God's will for you, which is good and pleasing and perfect. So really allowing God to transform you to a new person by changing the way you think. This is so powerful, and this is what I mean by being a fraction of God and knowing Jesus, and knowing that love transforms, and that love is real, and that love protects you, and that only love is real. That when we walk through this life, we may have fear, but it's never rooted in truth. I always tell you, it's always in your head. And when you're able to examine these thoughts and change them, you are a new person. You are born anew. And that has a lot to do with your emotions too. Our emotions are what keeps us stuck in old storylines and old patterns that we can change once we connect to our breath. And of course, connecting to our breath is connecting to spirit, connecting to God. God gave us breath. The breath is going to be with us until our very last day here on earth, where our flesh is going to, you know, die and it's going to stay here, but our spirit is forever. We live forever. We are children of God. We are love, and we are going to return to that eternity, that love, because love is eternity. It never dies. It just evolves. So, being really aware of your thoughts. This week, I went to a young adults group for my church, and the pastor said something really beautiful that I have been really thinking about. He said that his wife, when she would have Bible studies, she would call them women, equipping women with the sword. And swords are thinking, it's your thinking mind, it's words, it's your thoughts. And when we are equipped with God's word, we know that we are worthy. We know that we are inherently worthy, and we know that we are enough. And that is so beautiful. I also think about Mulan and just like her courage and her willingness to step up and to, defend herself, and just these beautiful things and beautiful qualities that we as women, as we grow and blossom, also need to cultivate and to nurture within us, because we're not weak. We are compassionate, but that does not mean weakness. And really standing firm and really setting boundaries, and that's also working. It's that balance of your divine feminine and your divine masculine. And it's just such a beautiful thing, because when you're able to balance the two, you're able to see like just the consistency and how you can flow with your days. There is never any rules that you need to go by. You just need to go with the flow. That's what life is really all about, and that's what it's here to teach you. But knowing to have that discernment and to know when to flow, and then when to be proactive and when to act. And just, always setting the intention to have your days consist of love. Acting on that love is so, so important. It is, when you act on love, you cannot lose. And I know sometimes it might seem confusing as to maybe what the next step is, or maybe 5 steps from now, but you don't need to worry about that. You just need to worry about the step that is right in front of you, and just take it day by day. Consistency can be tough, and a lot of people fall off because they think of the 5 years from now, 10 years from now, and it just seems so daunting, but it doesn't have to. That's just your mind getting in your way. You can just think of it day by day. Yeah, and just thinking about how being part of this family on earth and being able to give of yourself and giving of your heart is really being able to leave the place that you go into, any place, more blessed than when you entered. And that is such a beautiful thing. That is, that's leaving selfishness behind. It's knowing that we're all a community, we're all a family, and that we came here to grow together, and know that this is your promise and your relationship between you and God. It's not necessarily about the other people. It's not necessarily about, because you don't know who might come through, and you don't always get a thank you for doing that hard work, but it's between you and God. I saw a recent video about he's an actor. He was in I can't remember his name. But I will put his name here. I'll search it and put his name here. But I saw a video of him recently where he said that he started doing every job with the mentality, with the mindset that he was getting paid $1 million. So for every job that he was doing before he made it big, he needed to sweep the floors, he was a janitor, whatever it needed to be. He did the best job that he could possibly do. And he could say, okay, well, if they're paying me $1 million, like, what would this floor look like? And that was so beautiful. And he said that he changed the relationship of it and the service, and he started, it was a relationship between him and God, and his trust and his faith in God, and knowing that he was doing it for God and not necessarily for these people, but for for God's glory of, okay, you know, I'm here, I might as well do the very best job that I can. And when you have that attitude and that perspective, that completely changes everything. It changes your life. So really thinking about that this week as we go into building a better life for ourselves and a better world. And it starts with you and in your corner of the world. So I hope that was helpful. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your week, and I will see you next time.